The G-Wade Podcast with Deacon Dirty.
So, sitting to my right, I think your left, if I'm looking at the camera monitor correctly, is a podcaster here in Atlanta by way of Arkansas. Some little small blip in Arkansas that you wouldn't even know. Wouldn't even know what it was, what it is. 1, 2 traffic lights and you out of it. You know what I mean? Real small.
First of all.
Smaller than, apartment bathroom. It's small. You know what I'm saying? And but she came to the big city, so no more naders and taters. You know what I'm saying? She out here living and all that kind of stuff. You all welcome Crystal Whitaker. She likes to say your sis and your friend to the show.
Get it right. That's how we do. What's up, everybody? What's up?
And so you are here in Atlanta doing your podcast. And also, I forgot to mention a makeup artist, an MUA. It took me a while to understand what MUA was when I would see the hashtag. I'm like, what's an MUA? Who does this? What kind of degree do you need? Makeup artist. And also a makeup artist here. So talk and tell a little bit about yourself.
What's up, everybody? Again, like G-Wade said, it is your sis, your friend Crystal Whitaker right here, where we go down every Thursday evening here at WadeWorksStudios on the Morning Jam podcast, where we talk about anything. Old snaps and claps. It's a dang good day to talk about a few things. So we gets into it. Basically, I am from Arkansas. Don't y'all say Arkansas. It's not right. It's not proper. And you're definitely wrong. Yes, I am from a small town called Cave City, where the world's sweetest watermelon. Countryside, yes. Wade talks about it like he's been there. He ain't been there.
I ain't been there because I probably been there and didn't even know. It's a blip.
It is a small town. Population maybe 1,300.
17.
1,300.
And dwindling.
But no, not.
She says that it's a retirement community, but I'm like.
It definitely is. Lots of people. I actually met people from Hawaii, from California, that has actually moved from the luxury to the country. So
how they hear about it though?
So one couple, I did ask them. They said they just whatever their hand landed on, that's where they ended up, and they ended up in Cherokee Village.
So they did it like a Coming to America. Mm-hmm. What is a place 15-4K? Queens.
Right, more like Cherokee, Arkansas, which is maybe 10, 15, 20 miles from Cave City. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I grew up there, country girl, straight, genuine, love to have fun, love to talk. Just have a good time. But mainly I am a makeup artist. I've been doing makeup ever since I was about 14, 15. But I became a makeup artist professionally within the past 5 years. But I enjoy it. It's like a retreat of releasing things, and I beat my own face. And when I beat other ladies' faces as well. I enjoy it. I love making women feel really good about themselves, even with or without makeup, because I do particularly love to show women how to clean and keep their face clean. And right now I am makeup free.
Oh, my fault. Insert applause right there.
I am makeup free, so what you see is what you get. What you see is what you get.
No filter.
No filter. But yeah.
Shout outs to the women who use no filter. You the real MVP.
There's nothing wrong with a filter every once in a while.
Ain't nothing wrong with a little filter. But, if you got a lot of melanin and then all of a sudden you lighten the
That's true.
Your picture.
But you can do that with concealer. You don't need no.
Right, but I'm just saying. I mean, to each his own, but
Yeah. But I'm also, he totally missed the beginning of who Crystal Whitaker is, and I'm definitely a singer. Been singing for all my life, very long time. Makeup artist, podcaster now, entrepreneur, coming out with my own lashes. I can't wait to drop the date. There's a lot that's going on with that as well. I can't wait. But yeah, that's me.
That's what's up. And you've been here in Atlanta for how long now?
Since September of last year.
Of what? What's that year?
2021.
September of 2021, October, November, December, January, February, March, April. About almost 7 months.
Yeah.
How has it been living now in the big city
compared to the little
compared
city?
to the little
town?
You know, what I mean, the 17 population?
It's definitely different. Of course, I've been coming back and forth to Atlanta for a very long time. I would say at least 5 to 6 years, because I will always come to TD Jakes, One With Our Loose, when you had it here. Just different events, because I've been doing red carpets events, hosting and interviews and all that as well for quite some time. But it's definitely different. It has taught me to respect the world. Like, I grew up, my mom, I would say, covered us, sheltered us very well.
Probably a better word. You said covered.
Yeah.
But covered could be like what your pastor do. So you're saying the sheltered word.
Yeah,
so you was trying to use a euphemism.
Yeah, I was trying
That's why
to be nice.
she said cover. Right, there you go. See, but you know, I've been saying this for a minute. So what I'm about to say is
go ahead.
nothing new to you. I've always said just be honest. If you could be honest,
totally
but if you can just be honest, and I'm talking about even in things that you may not want to be honest about.
Mm-hmm.
If you could be honest about it, you will discover how quickly you could be freed from a lot of things.
Yeah, that's true.
It may be painful, but you will be freed much quicker because, you know, you like, whoosh, rather than that with the
Band-Aid.
Band-Aid.
One piece off at a time
no,
and
you
just
gotta,
being, but yeah, definitely learning experience. It has been challenging. It has been great. It has been, what can I say about moving here? Definitely growth for me. I've learned so much about myself, the ins and outs, the ups and downs, the likes and dislikes, and the disappointment of who Crystal Whitaker really is. And it takes great friends to really be truthful with me. And I've definitely learned that not only that my friends growing up they were being truthful, but halfway. They, sugarcoat it, as you can say.
Mm-hmm.
But here it's all, girl, you ain't right. Get it together. If you,
own your ish.
Yeah, own your ish,
Mm-hmm.
as you say. Yeah. And but it's really great living here. It's definitely has been an experience, mentally, physically, emotionally. So, I'm just learning each and every day to take it in one day at a time,
Mm-hmm.
and don't rush the process, because it is a process. Like you said, I've only been here going on close to 9 months now.
7.
Oh, 7. And I feel the change. And not only is it sound bad, but it's been 90% good. And I'm just really proud of the woman that I am becoming.
So what would you say is like one of your biggest lessons that you've learned thus far? You mentioned, your friends, folks back in Arkansas,
Mm-hmm.
giving you half truths or half calling you on the carpet, so to speak, on you.
Mm-hmm.
But since being here, what would you say is one of your biggest, like, wow, that's me, and I gotta, you know what I'm saying, like one of your biggest discoveries about yourself?
I'm laughing because I think it's funny. Because one is basically learning to be still, learning to listen. I didn't really listen back
That's
in
Bible.
Arkansas. Yeah.
Be still and know.
Yeah, I was going to finish the rest, but I'm just going to let it stay right there.
I would have finished it, but I can't remember the other half. So now you ain't being honest. See, you said you was going to finish, but you was going to leave it, but you don't know.
I
gotta look it up now.
What did you say?
Be still and know
that I am God.
Okay, but how would you know that He's God if you not be still?
Because you have to. Because in order, you gotta listen. You gotta, and that's the one thing that I had to definitely do, is actually listen to my thoughts. Because a lot of times I was not being still and not listening to my thoughts. Maybe my thoughts was telling me, say, hey, you need to chill, sis. You need to which is funny. I definitely don't want to bring this up yet, but I am with a mentor. I have a mentor, and that was the number one thing that she stated out first was, Crystal, you need to listen. And I was like,
what prompted her to say you need to listen?
It was nothing but God.
Okay.
Like, seriously.
I mean, but what I'm saying is play it out. In other words, there was a dialogue, and you don't have to tell it all, but the dialogue was, so yeah, I was driving in the car, and then I went to the store, and then I went over there, and then I went over there. It's like, what prompted her to even begin to say?
Like, even like starting off in this journey that I'm doing with myself, it started off like, we're going to learn how to listen. That's the exact word.
Gotcha.
And then she said, you need to learn how to listen.
Mm-hmm. And when she says to listen, meaning as in listen to whom?
God.
Gotcha.
Listen to self. Listen to the people that are around you that's pouring positivity into you, and not only just giving you half. You know how they say half-cocked stuff? They're giving you
half-truths.
Half-truths. You need to listen to the ones giving you full truths about what's going on. But mainly it was listening to God and really knowing how to be still.
Now, that being said, do you think that her saying you need to listen to people who are saying things to you, telling you truths, do you think that there was at any time or in any way that you were receiving what was being said to you as you just trying to hurt me, or it's kind of taking you by, like, in other words, you don't want to hear it. It may be true, but sometimes truth is like cheese on a cheese grating. It goes that way.
Yeah, it was definitely like cutting like a knife, because you have to want to listen. At the point at that time, I didn't want to hear the hurt part of it. I didn't want to hear that, because it was like cutting me. It was going pretty deep.
God is good at cutting.
Yeah,
because He's good at surgery too.
Absolutely, healing is always good.
Just want to throw that. Well, that's the healing. We talking about this surgery.
Yeah,
He can cut you. If He can cut you, He can mend you.
Absolutely.
That's a T-shirt.
Yeah,
that's a tweet. You know what I'm saying? If He can cut you, He can heal you. He can mend you.
Absolutely.
Facts, though.
Yeah, but that was the process of really like, okay, so I didn't want to hear it. So basically, I had like more when they were talking to me. It was more like, let me cut them off before they keep going into what they, the hurt. I didn't want to finish hearing that. So either it would be like changing the subject, or like saying, wait a minute, that's not me, or you don't have to say that, but yeah.
That would be more of like the deflection.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
I was watching a podcast recently, and somebody was talking about that, and that was one of the main things that they were saying was, referring to women, is women will deflect because they don't want to hear a truth. I mean, a lot of people deflect, don't get me wrong, but this was pertaining to women, and that women will deflect because they don't want to hear a truth about themselves, because, again,
yeah, it hurts.
It hurts.
And I can agree with you to a certain point, because women, we don't want to hear a lot of that, because we already, I feel like, one, in competition with other women, two, they're in the need of that love and reassurance from their partner or their spouse or whoever you want to say it. But we never want to hear like hurt. It's always, we want to feel that love and that, that support. And that's because we already go through so much. We carry so much. We, as mothers, we do what we got to do,
Yeah, no, I feel you. I mean, I don't want to flip it, so I won't. I was going to say, it's men, you know what I'm saying? We do too. So I'm not even going to do that.
Okay.
I'm going to keep it this way, you know what I'm saying? Because, I guess I kind of have to. It hurts both ways.
Exactly.
Like, I'll use me personally, just knowing some of the things from my past. And when I say my past, I don't have a volatile past. Like, I wasn't abused, I wasn't sexually abused, I wasn't abandoned. I didn't have none of those kind of feelings. The only feeling, and I talk about this openly, that I've always had when it came to me was not knowing who my father was.
Yeah.
That thing played heavy on me.
I can see that.
And so I talk about it a lot. And the reason why I talk about it a lot, because I know that there's some young man out there that really wants to know who his father is.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, he's not in the home or in his life or whatever. And I always say, you know, one, continue, keep praying about it, because that's the one thing I was constant about. Like, God, if you know, you just give me that. You know, give me that. I ain't asking for nothing else. If you give me that. Longing for it. I was like Five of the Mouse. Somewhere out there. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at, is he looking at the same moon? You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so for me to had, you know, later in life, met my father and reconciled within, because I didn't have a problem with him. You know, there was never, oh, Wanda, where are you? We never played baseball. You know, nothing. I never said none of those kind of words.
That's cool, though.
None of that kind of stuff even affected me. The only thing was I just wanted to know who he was. And when I got that, and when he poured into me what he could, it was good for me. So I walked away like,
cool. Like
I'm good now. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I talk about that a lot simply because I know there are young guys out there, the older gentlemen out there too, who have never met their father. And my thought, or my saying to you is, stay in hot pursuit. You know, I did all this is back, you know, Yellow Pages. Let's find all the last names. Okay, let's write a letter to them. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? And I did all that. I made phone calls. I remember talking to one lady, and she was like, and she was very sympathetic. I can't remember where she was, if it was in D.C. or out of state. It probably was out of state. And she was like, oh, baby, I hope you find your father. I mean, she was really nice about it.
That's really sweet.
You know, but I stayed in pursuit, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of times it's easy to give up, you know, but you want to try to hopefully meet him, find him, learn something before he hits the grave, you know what I'm saying, before God calls him. And so I was fortunate enough to have that happen, got a good year and a half out of him before God, it was a wrap, you know what I'm saying? And
that's really sad.
it worked for me. So that's why I talk about it a lot. So your mentor saying, stay open and listen. And so what is it that you think, or what is it that you think she was saying to you, like to hear what?
What God has for me, really, like basically walking in his will, trusting him, letting him lead the way, because a lot of times when I feel like I'm in control of things, it totally goes wrong. But allowing God to lead and guide me in everything that I do, that boils down to with money, paying bills, talking to my son, talking to friends, being with family. You know, I think spiritually, that was natural, but even with spiritually is really taking the time out to just sit in peace and quiet, and learning to know who I am and know who God is first. So, yeah. Yeah,
I know we've talked, and I would say to you, you need to calm that nervous energy on the inside. We talked about that not long ago. And I said, you need to calm that nervous, because I know that nervous energy. I had that nervous energy on the inside. That's to where nothing would sit still. That's what keeps you moving, that nervous energy. So when you feel like, I gotta. And really what it is it's keeping you moving so that you can't sit still and hear what thus saith the Lord.
But I'm already a energetic
And you got to
person.
understand that God sometimes will speak to you through a post. You know what I'm saying?
You see what you're pointing at. We just
oh wow! Be still and know that I am God. That's too funny. That is too funny.
And I noticed
that's
that
on the wall, y'all.
And I was like, oh, okay.
Wow. See? And I'm pointing right at it. God is speaking, y'all. See? God is talking. You know, and we joke, but for real, God speaks in so many different ways. He spoke to me through the clouds and the trees.
Yeah.
That was my realization that there is a God. So I'm saying, you know, I don't just, you know, when he used donkeys and he used whatever he used, you know, in scripture to speak to you, he will get your attention in whatever way it is. But he also waits.
Yeah.
I mean, the Holy Spirit is still a gentleman. He still Still waits.
I remember a time like even growing up as a young child. I remember even just being out in the country and just being outside. I would actually find a place
out in the country.
Yeah, out in the
not
country.
out of the country. Okay.
No.
So you're talking about a lot of woods and trees and fields.
Absolutely. Like in the country, I would find like somewhere where it was cool, like it was, because we lived, like for real, we lived in the boondocks of of the countryside, and like the trees and the wind would blow, the birds. I mean, and I just enjoyed every bit of it. And I remember finding that quiet place and just even listening to the wind blow.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it was just peaceful to me. And somewhere along the way, that was lost.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like it was lost through the things that I went through in life.
Mm-hmm.
From growing up as a young child to where I am today.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just lost. So now I'm actually just trying to find that peace again.
Mm-hmm. We also talked, do you feel like, and I'm saying that because of what you just said, I'm asking this because of what you just said, do you feel like, and this was a phrase that I used that you didn't quite know what it meant at first, do you think you experienced or had experienced or experiencing an arrested development?
Absolutely, yeah. And I look back now and be like, dang, who do I blame this on? But some of it is on self because things that I went through, and I let, other people go ahead of me. And, I felt like, okay, so once you get done, I'll go. It was always putting people ahead of me. So I just felt like that was one, and I just waited.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I agree with that. So, yes.
Yeah. So what has been your biggest transformation since being here in Atlanta? I mean, you transition from one location to another. And I'm going to interject with saying this. I know for me, and I don't want to be talking about me, but I generally will use me. I said that I had been able to confront my mother on some things, but I wasn't able to do it when I lived in D.C. I don't know for what reason I couldn't. I don't know if I was afraid to say something to her. I didn't know if it was going to hurt her feelings. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know what I could say. And never disrespectful, but I was able to get here, settle in my mind, I guess, be still.
Yeah.
And then say, I got to get this stuff off of me. And I was able to call her and talk to her about some things that, I don't know if I otherwise would have been able to. Do you think that, since being here, like I said, your transition, what has been your biggest transformation?
Ooh, that's good, because it has been a release for me to be able to talk about what I went through as a young teenager, was a molestation, and I wasn't comfortable having a conversation around my family because it was uncomfortable and it was scary, and I didn't know what the end result or the outcome would be of opening up. So it definitely been a huge release or a sigh for me, just to be able to communicate about that to someone that definitely know that, hey, this is not going to go anywhere. Trust me, and just being able to continue to just release of that. I think the more that I talk about it, it tears off or it falls off, or the chain breaks even more. So
that's what you said right there, and that right there is free. You understand what I'm saying? That's why when I talk to you, and anyone for that matter, I even talk about it on the pod, I talk about being free and being able to talk about anything.
Yeah.
I mean, when it's not the easiest thing to talk about, you get free. Me and a buddy of mine's, when there's something that goes down, and he does it too, and it's been a while since we've done it, but we have this thing we call Can I Cuss? And it just kind of happened one day. And in fact, it started because of some music that he let me hear, and I called him and was like, yo, can I cuss? And he was like, what? I was like, dude, this joint is fire, whatever. And it just became a thing.
That's cool, though.
So now whenever something goes down, whether with him or with me, he'll hit me up and be like, yo, can I cuss? We ain't cussing. He just want to tell me what happened. He wants to get it off of them.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm big on. I'm big on getting
cool.
it off of you, because forget whether or not it goes away.
Yeah.
But if you get it off of you, and by off of you mean you're not carrying it around with you.
Yeah,
you're
I
able
carried
to.
it for so long. Yeah.
Oh, your shoulders ain't like this no more. You're like, I got this.
Yeah.
It ain't done, but now I ain't ashamed of it no more. I'm not holding it in trying to protect. I'm not holding it in to trying to protect me. What are people going to think of me if they hear that story?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Well, they're going to feel like everybody else felt, who male and female, who's dealt with it.
But at that point in time, I didn't think of it that way. I didn't.
Of course, because the enemy is good at keeping you ashamed.
Ashamed,
you know what I mean?
locked down, burdened.
But thank God for Romans 8 and 20. Therefore, there is now no condemnation to those who are in Christ Jesus. You know what I'm saying?
I love how you can just quote scriptures, because I'm not very.
It's the Holy Spirit. He brings it back to my remembrance.
Right, because I'm definitely, it has to be, because one, I'm not naturally dope on quoting scriptures, but when, like you said, the Holy Spirit coming in, he'll give you the words in the same hour.
Well, giving you the words is one thing, but bringing back something to your remembrance, you have to first know it. And that's the conversation we had before. I was like, you got to first know it in order for him to bring it back. You know, he ain't gonna be like
I never knew that. I definitely want to say, like, encouraging, because for me, I lived a life, but it was still buried inside. I covered with my life and
busy.
Yeah, been busy.
Very busy body. I remember we was in Arkansas. I'd be like, what are you, why don't you go home? Why are you out?
Really. Like, for
you
real.
just got off work and you want to go somewhere?
I didn't like being alone. I was very alone, and I didn't want to be alone with my thoughts either. And it was very scary for me, and a very scary place for me.
You need LL. When I'm alone when they say, when I'm alone in my room, I sit and stare at the wall.
Exactly. That's what I'm doing. Like, what in the world? I'm just sitting in here staring at the wall like I'm crazy, but it wasn't. I began to, I'm not a huge reader, but I began to read the Bible. I began to read books. And then it was just not even finishing the book, because, I just didn't like to read, but, I need to stop saying that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't like to be alone, or, because I was always around people. I was around my family. I was around my kid. I was around.
But that allowed you to not have to be.
Yeah.
So you was alone with their thoughts. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yeah. Like, what's going on? Because it would be like the first thing when I walked through the door. Like, okay, son, what's going on? What's going on in your world? Not worry about what's going on in mine.
Yeah. For me, I had to get sat down in order to get alone with my thoughts, which was a great thing. I didn't think it was great at the time, you know what I'm saying? But I can look back and be like, oh, that was so good for me. It was really good for me because, I'm going to use the country slang saying that's when God got a hold on me.
That's right.
And really, spoke to me. I mean, he spoke to me in a real way. It spoke to me in a way that I could understand.
Yeah.
Spoke to me in a way that sparked something inside of me that was like, this God here, I want to know about this God.
Yeah.
And so it set me on my journey to discovery, self-discovery. I was just talking the other day, me and Deacon Dirty, in fact, and we were talking about triggers. And I was saying, for me, I said I was just angry. I was mad, angry, and bitter growing up, and it kicked in 11th grade. I mean, it kicked in. And when it kicked in, I just went with it, good student in school and all that, but 11th grade, it shifted. And so it set me on a journey of kind of self-destruction. You're headed for self-destruction. And, but after coming to Christ and sitting with counselors and pastors and learning under some good teaching of who, and God showing me who I am, I was like, dang, you angry one. It was all my father. It was everything. I point back to him, not to him in a bad way, meaning I had issues growing up not knowing him. That was my problem.
Yeah.
And so I took it out on any and everybody. Want to fight? Sure. You know what I'm saying? You want to be destructive to yourself? Sure.
I should have beat you up.
Yeah, I don't know if I ever took an L, but that one time I got jumped though. But I walked away from that jump.
On everybody else.
Well, I didn't take them out on everybody else, but I didn't have a problem because you're just angry.
Yeah.
And a lot of people walk around angry and don't know that they're angry.
It's cool that you said that, and it's cool that you can name yours. You said angry, bitter, and what else?
Yeah, because you got to call out your. Jesus was like, "Come out." He named them.
But what did you said? Angry, bitter.
Angry, bitter, and I forgot what I said.
Yeah.
Angry, bitter. I know those two for sure.
Yeah. Well, I kind of like I definitely was angry, but I was angry at myself. So I was never taken out on other people.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just like, I'm angry, so I'm going to be quiet. So growing up, I was this shy person, very, very quiet. I always tell this story because I can remember not even really speaking up for myself until I got older. And I remember sitting at the kitchen table because, listen, I'm from a huge family, 12. But at the time, it was probably like 7 at home with, of us at home. And I remember because we had this table, brown table, and whenever we had dinner or breakfast, you can take the middle part of it out and make it smaller.
Right.
And when we all gathered at the table, you slide
we
the
had
middle
Big Mama's
part.
house.
You slide the middle piece in, and it made the table bigger. And I remember sitting there and just allowing my siblings to take my food off my plate. And I'm like, I never said anything. So I'm like,
gonna finish that cornbread.
like angry at myself for not even standing up for myself then. Like, okay, so did it start there? But I was just really quiet, didn't really speak at the time. But now, can't get me to sometimes. But yeah, I was just really angry at myself. It's even cool just even saying it now. I was very angry with myself.
If you call it out, I'm telling you. Like I said, Jesus called out the demon. That's why, instead of just being like, whatever, saying it, using your words and letting the enemy know that, listen, dude, you ain't got, it was like, I think, I forgot where it was in the Bible, was Satan was like, him I know.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
You I don't know. And I can't remember the context of it, but it just popped in my head.
Because, I know where you're coming from. So.
And it's like one of those things that like, yeah, you know me, but I know you too. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know before. But now that I know, Goodfellas, the movie, when they, the mob dudes, when they went and was, robbing this spot, they took the drivers whose stuff they were stealing, his ID, and looked at it, and he said, you know who we are, but we know who you are.
Right.
Now we know who you are. So it's the same thing with Satan. It's like, yeah, you knew who I was, but now I know who you are, and I can call you out by name, and I can confront you that way. And when I toss in my Lord and Savior name into it, you got to bow, you got to tremble, you got to flee.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know what I mean?
You definitely have to open your mouth up and speak and allow your voice, because without a voice, you can't do anything. But with that voice, it's so powerful, and a lot of people don't understand that with their voice, when they speak, there is power.
Absolutely, absolutely. So now you are, again, here in Atlanta, self-discovery, like you said, mentioned a mentor, learning more about yourself, your triggers. Well, let me ask you that. What is a trigger for you? Do you know what your triggers are?
I really haven't figured that out yet. It's like a learning process, but I know one is definitely probably, let me see here, rejection. I think rejection is a trigger for me because I just, like I said, I don't like being alone. I love being, I'm a touchy-feely love person, and rejection is definitely a trigger for me. It makes me sad. It makes me get emotional. And then I find myself crying. I don't even need to be telling this. Like, this is.
But hey, that's breaking chains. You're calling it out. You're saying it by name.
I feel like that's one of the ones I haven't figured out pretty much, it's a learning process.
Right.
Yeah.
And I guess at some point you will discover that it's not being alone that's the problem. It's feeling lonely while you're alone. Because you can be alone. You know, you could be in a room 1,000 people and feel alone. You know what I'm saying? Many of us have done it. People are doing it right now in a room at the party. Everybody, and you really in there like, I don't even know why I'm here.
Right.
This ain't even for me no more. I got a front for the next hour and a half.
Right.
You know, I don't want to be here popping bottles, but you there because you don't want to be home and like Cat Williams said, in that lonely kitchen.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you flood yourself with people. But I would imagine that, you know, you will go from being alone to no longer realizing that that's not the issue, but that feeling lonely while alone is the problem.
Oh, this journey has been definitely amazing for me. I cannot wait because, you know, the mentor is like a 7-month like long thing. So I'm very excited.
So she'll be just doing this.
Yeah.
Peeling back the layers of your onion.
Yeah. So I'm excited. A little nervous about it because it's starting from the beginning. Because I left that where it was. So I found myself crying. I was like, "Why am I crying up here, dog?" You know.
You talking about with them?
Yeah, with them. So I didn't want to do that, like especially on my first.
But why not? Because that's again, I remember one time we was talking.
Let me say this first because one, growing up, my mom always would put in us, in her girls, like, you are great, you're amazing. And I believe that
you was pretty, you was kind, you was special.
And you can be whatever you want to be. And that just stuck with us. And I feel like my mom poured that into us because she didn't have that because her mom passed at the age of when she was 3. Then stepmom come in, and I'm not sure the relationship that they had, but she didn't have that. So my mom definitely said, okay, I'm not going to have my children, my girls grow up the way I did. So it was more like, okay, I'm going to give you this, what I know, which wasn't very much, but it was much. And it just stuck with us. So feeling, I wouldn't say, I always say it all the time, I'm not perfect, but people thought, oh, Crystal's perfect. You don't make mistakes. I made lots of mistakes. And I sometimes get that now. Oh, you're perfect. You think you're just, no. I'm not perfect.
Do you think that you, and this is, again, one of those, you know, I guess we'd say the be honest thing. Do you think that you kind of tried to come off as perfect?
Oh, no, I never tried to come off as perfect because I always felt like I was just this fun person that always knew that I made mistakes, knew that I could make mistakes, and I'm not one to be like, oh, I'm perfect. Even though I made that mistake, I'm this goody two-shoe girl. No, it was never like that for me.
Okay. So, you know, again, you're with the mentor. You got some months to go. What do you think, what is the thing that you're really looking to get out of that? I mean, I know that's in the future. You don't really know.
This is a personal
I got you.
journey for me.
Well, of course, yeah. Nobody, it ain't ours.
The thing is, really, they had me fill out this whole pamphlet thing, application. It was what it was. It was an application, and it even asked me that question. And she even had to kind of like remind me of what I said. Okay, I know what I put on there, but hit those points for me. And she was I was like, oh yeah, I remember putting that. Oh yeah, that's right. And it's definitely personal to me. But I look forward to sharing my journey. Not now, but I want to experience this personally first, and renew not only in the mind, but you know, my day-to-day living in this. So yeah,
that's what's up. Well, I mean, I know there's, you know, obviously a bright future ahead. There's deliverances now. You know what I'm saying? Freedom and breaking those chains is definite, because you know, God hasn't brought us this far or brought you this far to leave you now, to leave you here. So, you know, it's one of those things that, one of those journeys, like you said, is personal. You walking through it has nobody's business but your own, between you and God.
Yeah.
And that, you know, and you've heard me say this before, I'm telling you, you here. But once you get here, you're going to look back and be like, wow.
Well, I look forward to that. Mm-hmm. And one of the thing is that it's not a journey about anybody else. It's not, this person. It's about me. Me. So it's exciting because, one, I've recently was asked to be in a film, and I said yes at first, but then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to back out of this because I have a lot of stuff going on. Personally, my business, things that I want to accomplish and work on crystal stuff. Because, I have poured into so many people, business, and not here in Georgia, but in Arkansas for so many years. And just now I feel like it's the time to work on Crystal Whitaker.
That's what's up.
Assisting your friend.
So where can people find you, your social media, and all that good stuff?
Yeah, y'all know Facebook. Y'all know IG. YouTube as well. So you can connect with me there. You can connect with me on Thinking Out Loud Network. Connect with me on there. WadeWorksStudios. You can connect with me. And also, you can connect with me at Crystal A. Whitaker 81@gmail.com.
I always find that to be funny when people get an email. It's social media, but I always find it funny.
You can hit me up in my inbox and my messenger and just say, hey, what's up, Crystal? You got some room on the show? Of course I do. Come on. We'll have a great time. Talk about a few things. So, yeah, that's where you can find me.
That's what's up. Well, I certainly appreciate you coming and sitting in. This is not a new set for us. The G-Wade Podcast still do our thing down in Studio A. We're here in Studio E right now. I was setting up some stuff, and then we decided to sit down and do an impromptu, not interview, but conversation. And so that's what you all got, just a little peek into the world of Crystal Whitaker, the world of Whitaker, and
that's pretty good. I'm about to use that.
You know what I mean? And my percentage, and so there you have it. That's what's up.
There you have it.
So it's your boy G-Wade holding it down, G-Wade Podcast, and I'm kicking it alongside with my man Deacon Dirty. Y'all know what it is. Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your boy G-Wade holding it down, and I want to thank you all for tuning into this episode of the G-Wade Podcast. Now be sure to subscribe to this channel. Click that notification bell to stay up on all the latest videos and content that we post. And we just appreciate everything.
Oh, and don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at G-Wade Podcast. Till then.